Up what emergency management directors have learned from recent disasters.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The weather is calm for most of us tonight, but there are more chances for storms and heavy rain. That's why our First Alert Weather Day continues. First Alert meteorologist Megan Dusmall has the latest. Megan.
Just as Steve mentioned, most of the region is nice and dry right now. However, as we travel to some of the more southern portions of our area, you're starting to see some storm activity and scattered showers. Scattered showers for Campbell County, but as you zoom in towards Harlan and Lee County, that's where you're going to see some storms. In fact, 162 lightning strikes over the past 15 minutes. This is a very active system that will keep on moving over the next couple hours. We're watching the rainfall as we go through the next couple of minutes. Now, in terms of temperatures all across the board, we're mainly sitting in the 70s, with the exception of Monticello, a little bit warmer than the rest of us, 81 degrees. We'll continue to see those temperatures cooling down as we head overnight. Not going to see too much of a change, though, from the upper 70s down to the low to mid 70s is what you can expect as you're heading into tomorrow morning. In fact, here's a look at that temperature trend. Just a little bit of a dip, and then we're going to stay in those low to mid 70s as we're tracking through the majority of your Thursday morning. Steve.
All right, Megan, thank you. The threat for flash flooding is a situation that Kentucky is becoming all too familiar with. First Alert meteorologist Ben Beddoes spoke with some local emergency management directors about what they have learned to improve the response to these events.
Kentucky has been tested many times in recent years with numerous flooding events, including 2 so far this year. Local emergency management has learned a lot from these disasters.
Emergency management, they were getting better and better over the last 5 years. We've had numerous opportunities to hone our skills, and they've done a real good job about being proactive and getting out and ahead of different types of things.
Jerry Stacy, Emergency Management Director in Perry County, says response and communication has gotten significantly better within the last decade.
Kentucky Emergency Management and our support and for local EMs is just outstanding. I mean, second to none.
Another element that has significantly improved over the years is training.
I come on board going on 11 years ago. I don't know that we had anybody trained in swiftwater rescue. We have multiple volunteer fire departments, the city fire department with multiple members that have all that training.
So confidence in responding to disasters in the future is much higher. Of course, you knowing what to do is important in the event flash flooding happens. There are some things you can do to protect yourself and your property.
Make sure that your culverts are clear. Make sure your ditches are clear. If you have an area it's supposed to be a drainage ditch or something and it's full, you need to clean it out now, before the flash flooding.
Also, have multiple ways to receive alerts when warnings are issued. For WKYT, I'm Ben Beddoes.
Both Babcock and Stacy say if you are in a poor area or in an area with poor cell service, you should consider getting a NOAA weather radio. As we approach the 3rd anniversary of the July 2022 flood, folks throughout the country are continuing to pour their hearts into Perry County. Volunteers came to the new Skyview High Ground development site where the Housing Development Alliance is building homes for flood survivors. Becca Shea came with 7F Global Impact Initiative to volunteer for a second time. She says she is grateful for the opportunity to build forever homes for folks who need it most.
Just like perfectly designed, the right size space, and I mean, they were doing blow-in insulation, brand new HVAC, like they're just gonna be maintenance-free homes, which what a gift that is.
Folks with the HDA tell us they hope to build 64 homes on the 50-acre Skyview site. It's been 2 months since a deadly tornado damaged many businesses, homes, and various buildings in southern Kentucky. In Pulaski County, some rebuilding is already underway. For others, it will be a time-consuming and lengthy project.
And we're still not there. We're still not rebuilt by any stretch of the imagination. But you can see that the community is bouncing back. I don't think we're ever going to look the same again.
The South Kentucky RECC building was likely the largest facility in the county to be damaged. That rebuilding effort could take 2 years to complete. PHI air medical teams in London are some of the many folks who have felt the weight of the devastation from the May 16th deadly tornado, with their second hangar and base being destroyed. Katie Nelson, a flight nurse with PHI, shared that while the crew is fully operational, the last 2 months have not been easy.
It's been a lot more difficult on the family side. My grandparents' house is totally gone. I mean, it totally leveled it. That whole road in their neighborhood, I mean, everything is gone.
Both sets of Nelson's grandparents, as well as her parents, live in the Sunshine Hills area, which was devastated. We learned more today about a deadly crash yesterday in Jackson. A section of Kentucky 15 was closed for several hours. 2 cars were involved in the head-on collision. Jackson City Police Chief Brian Haddock says 1 person died, Tiffany Campbell of Jackson.
The other 3 with non-life-threatening injuries was flown out from Jackson Hospital.
It's not known if any of those flown to a hospital have been released yet. After nearly 50 years of service, the Kentucky Equal Justice Center announced its doors will close at the end of July. The nonprofit cites a tough financial climate as the reason. Madison Carmouche talked to a leader with the KEJC about what this means for their clients.
But the reality is that without the resources to hire a private attorney, a lot of them will end up just getting steamrolled in that system.
Jackson Cooper has been an attorney for 13 years. He has worked with the Kentucky Equal Justice Center for 2 years, but that is coming to an end. The nonprofit no longer has the funding to continue providing legal services to immigrants, refugees, and low-income families.
The number of organizations who are able to represent folks at low or no cost to help them through that process they were few to begin with, and they're fewer now.
Cooper says a majority of their clients are seeking citizenship, naturalization, or work visas. He says these legal processes can take between 10 and 20 years.
The majority of the folks that we help at Maxwell Street through KJC are folks who are quote unquote doing it the right way. They're working through the legal immigration system.
Now their clients are left with no legal support for a years-long verification process. He says people who are undocumented are referred to them by legal aid, which cannot help them because it is federally funded.
We are having to withdraw from those cases, and hopefully we're able to connect those clients with new attorneys who can, at the bare minimum, be the attorney of record.
In Lexington, Madison Carmouche, WKYT.
Cooper says if there are any attorneys willing to volunteer and take over some of these cases, to reach out to him. Governor Andy Beshear made a stop in Greenville, South Carolina today. The governor attended the 67th American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations convention.
I'm here today because y'all are on the front lines in the fight for a better future for working people. I'm here as a proud Democratic governor of a southern red state who has proved that you can be pro-jobs, pro-business, and pro-worker all at the same time.
Governor Beshear is the second Democratic governor to visit that area recently. California Governor Gavin Newsom was there last week. Both are being considered potential presidential candidates in 2028. President Trump is angry at some Republicans who he believes are obsessed with the Jeffrey Epstein case. It follows their demands that the administration keeps its promise to release information about his crimes, his death, and the famous people who associated with him. CBS's Scott McFarland has the latest.
Frederick County, Maryland is a speck of politically moderate purple America, where downtown is filled with Civil War markers and tiny shops.
Good afternoon.
Pastor Tim May, who hosts a community radio show on WFMD, says he's struck by how many people are talking about a controversy that began nowhere near here.
I would think this is about the least important thing in our lives. Everything from local economy to elections.
But they keep calling.
They keep calling, and they keep it alive.
This afternoon, the calls from local listeners who usually listen for updates on high school football or city government talked about Jeffrey Epstein.
It's time to move on and just be upfront about why you're not. If you're not going to release it, just be upfront about why you're not releasing it.
It's human nature. You want to know what's behind the curtain.
Before taking office, Trump's allies, including his now Attorney General and FBI director, fueled conspiracy theories to galvanize voters about Epstein's death in prison. Epstein was jailed in 2019 for sex trafficking.
Thing I think President Trump should run on day one, roll out the black book.
Epstein spent time with powerful figures in finance and politics. Conspiracy theorists believe there's a paper trail connecting them to Epstein and their own sex crimes against children.
I call it the Epstein hoax.
Over the past 48 hours, President Trump has blasted his own supporters, calling them weaklings for focusing on the controversy, arguing there's no there there, no conspiracy.
They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously has some very serious problems.
But he appears only to have inflamed the controversy, including among his own supporters, like Stephen Taylor from Western Pennsylvania, who wants the Epstein files released.
We put you in office. You ran on this platform. You offered it. We didn't ask for it. And now we want it. We demand it.
And in a rarity in the Trump era, the issue has unified allies and critics, and Purple America, who want to hear more.
Jeffrey Epstein's what we're talking about, and we want your calls.
And though the Epstein controversy is a topic of conversation in communities big and small, the top brass at the Justice Department have kept a lower profile this week, including FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who declined multiple times Tuesday to answer questions about the Epstein case. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Frederick, Maryland.
Tonight, the Justice Department announced Maureen Comey had been fired. She helped prosecute Sean Diddy Combs and Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump confirmed CBS News reporting that he discussed firing Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell with Republican lawmakers Tuesday. The president has been critical of Powell for weeks for not lowering interest rates and a $2.5 billion renovation underway at the Federal Reserve. But the president said he is not planning to fire Powell, and a federal law says the Fed chair can only be removed for cause. President Trump signed the Halt Fentanyl Act today. The Halt All Legal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act places fentanyl-related substances under the same strict controls as other Schedule I drugs such as heroin. The event included nearly 200 attendees, including lawmakers, organizations focused on ending the fentanyl crisis, and Americans who have lost loved ones to the drug. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, it's been happening for nearly 2 decades. We'll take you to this year's Camp Unite.
And we are still tracking scattered showers and storms throughout the night.